Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk. We have a transfer storm coming your way. We've got news on Kolo Muani, a huge David Ornstein bomb. As you can see on the screen, that is the main story for tonight. But we also have updates on Amad Diallo's new contract, Joshua Zirkzee to Juventus, Lenny Yoro praise, and Marcus Rashford to AC Milan is another story that's doing the rounds at the moment. But the most recent one, Sam, is Kolo Muani. Now, I'm going to read out what David Ornstein has put, and we shall get your reaction, as always. But yeah, Tottenham, Man United, and Juventus exploring a deal to sign Randal Kolo Muani on loan from PSG. All the clubs mentioned have expressed interest. They're currently viewed as top contenders regarding his future. And look, this is someone who struggled for form at a minute with PSG. He's been in and out of the side. He's got, scored twice in 10 outings. But it is a loan deal, Sam. So should we at least explore this possibility?
I mean, if you look at sort of the strikers that would be available on the market, there's not many that sort of like step out where you're like, oh my God, get him.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not
there's
Vegas,
nobody
is
like
it?
that. No. I really liked Muani when he was at, was it Frankfurt?
Mm-hmm.
Where he was
Yep.
at? Really good season at Frankfurt. I thought he was like quality, very versatile, could play all the way across that front line. At PSG, he's kind of gone back a little bit than what he was doing at Frankfurt. Maybe that's the lack of minutes. Maybe that's the lack of confidence. Maybe that's he doesn't really feel like part. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe if he comes to a team where he's like the main man and stuff, maybe like he was at Frankfurt, maybe he pulls it up again. But yeah, it's not a transfer where I'm like, oh my God, it's an exciting transfer, but we do need an experienced striker. He does fit that mold.
Mm-hmm.
Loan deal, 6 months. You've got nothing to lose. You can be like, all right, it didn't work out. Sayonara. Where is he from? French. Au revoir. Best of luck on your next venture. So yeah, why not? Like, it's worth a punt. Us, Tottenham, and who was the other one? Napoli?
Juventus as well.
Juventus. Juventus are trying to get Vlahovic out the door.
Yeah.
So that's why they're Spurs. Did they really get anybody of this caliber? Really, Spurs?
No, but because they're so lightweight up top, they are really pushing apparently for it as well.
So, and it's a Daniel Levy deal as well, and you don't have to pay any money for it. So it's is what it is. But yeah, it's interesting. No obligation to buy. I hope. I hope there's no obligation to buy. Worth a punt. I don't think it's the worst idea in the world.
Yeah, so he's joined PSG, as we know, from Frankfurt. 75 million euros was the price. It was regarded as one of the most exciting young forwards in Europe during his time in the German league. And just to go, I'll take a quick look at his stats. 16 goals and 14 assists in 34 games for Frankfurt, which is fucking impressive for any player. And you can obviously see why PSG has gone for him. However, in the French league, 29 goals and 19 assists in 115 games. So it hasn't quite worked out there for him. But we have a player already, Sam, who was out of favour under Luis Enrique.
Yeah.
And that seemed to work out. If you watched his performance last night, Can it be similar? Is it worth the risk?
I think it's very low risk, isn't it? If it's a loan with no obligation, like it's a low risk. Like take a punt and just see what happens. Like it's an extra body. He's a different type of striker to Højlund and Zirkzee and something like that. Maybe we're looking at like what the story we'll get onto later. Maybe there's a reason we're looking at Kolo Muani because maybe Zirkzee is going somewhere else. So I think it's worth a punt for sure. I don't know how much on his wages we'd have to do, or if like PSG are covering those. I don't know how that works. But
I'd imagine
why not?
At PSG's wages are pretty fucking astronomical, aren't they?
Yeah. But he was almost a hero for the French team, wasn't he, in the Euros? Like if he would have put that goal away.
Yeah.
He's a French hero, isn't he?
It's not about that. Yeah. He's definitely got talent. You mentioned before, versatile, can play across the front line. How that would kind of work in Amorim's system, I'm not entirely sure because I don't even know if he's played in a similar system. I feel like he's always played in like a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-1.
I'm sure he could fit into one of those 10 positions. I'm sure he could play in the 9.
Maybe.
Like, I'm sure he could fit anywhere around that area. Somewhere in that area.
The worry with me is it's always like when you see it, and I know, like I just said, Ugarte was the same, so I'm a bit of a hypocrite for saying this, but I always have like an internal worry where I'm like, if a manager doesn't want him, is there more reasons? Is there more depth to that? Does he feel like he has the right. I suppose only PSG fans would truly know, right?
Yeah, I think PSG is a special case, isn't it? Because they stack players up like they're building a house of cards, don't they?
Yeah.
Like they just buy all the best young talent. Gonçalo Ramos, Kolo Muani. Who was the winger they bought this year?
Desire Doué.
Yeah, Doué.
Yeah.
They just stack young talent. Even Donnarumma's like out of the team at the minute, isn't he? Like he's not playing for them. They got him on a free. So I don't think it's a reflection on the whole, because if it's PSG, a lot of people struggle to get game time at PSG unless you're one of the top people. So I think that's not a reflection. Had he, if we were buying him for say, or loaning him for say Frankfurt, and he'd had that really good season and then he had a really shit season, then you've got to start to worry because he's like playing consistent games. I think PSG is an outlier. I think it's a little bit different from PSG.
Yeah, because United are never going to commit to something permanent in the January market, are they? One, they can't do it because of funds anyway, and two, it's always a weird kind of period. Now, I know, I know we have had situations where we've signed players in
It's been
January.
a while.
It's been a hot minute for sure. Yeah, it's been a hot minute
Bruno?
for sure. Bruno
was
was one of them. Yeah. Obviously, Nemanja Vidic and Never Famously we signed in January.
Yeah.
But obviously that was a thing of the past, so it's kind of like I'm not sure. Just what's going on with this dropping frames and shit? I don't know what's going on here. Sorry if we are lagging a little bit. I have no idea why, because it's on a wired connection, so it's a bit bizarre that it's doing that. I'll have a look at the frame rates. But just the last thing on it, if we can get him and if we can, the wages, it's not too much, and I don't know, it's cost you a couple million. I think this is worth it because Højlund's not scoring at the minute. Zirkzee's got his issues, as we know, which we'll touch on shortly. I think go and do it if you can. But there's a lot of clubs interested, so that's the tough side of it, isn't it? The competition.
Yeah. Like if you can get it done. I read a story today. I can't remember who wrote it. It might be Sky. They were saying United are trying to be clever and different in the market. This is a good example of that. You got an out of favour forward. You can get him. Doesn't cost you much money. You're in desperate need of that position. Like it makes sense. It's a smart deal to do. I don't see any issues with it. Like had we been buying him and spending a lot of money, then I think I'd have a few more issues with it. But a loan for 6 months, I think makes sense.
Yeah, I am going to do a bit more digging on Kolo Muani because I've seen bits of him. I've seen him a lot for France. I've seen bits and pieces. I saw him more at Frankfurt, to be honest, like you were saying, Sam. So I don't know. I don't want to blindly just jump into it and say, yeah, just go and get him just for the sake of it. You always, I'm sure Amrin will even be asked about this, and what do they always say? Oh, well, if something comes across in the market and it's the right thing, we'll do it.
They're never going to say. They're never going to confirm with it. So.
Exactly. But I want to hear everyone else's thoughts, not just mine and Sam's. What we all saying? Vince saying, Kath missed Man United funeral was today. All the legends, first team and women's team and youth team all turned up. Rest in peace. Yeah, it was nice to see that, wasn't it, Sam?
Yeah, they're really cool to see them come out and pay tribute to a woman who was she there for like 50 years
50
or something?
odd years.
Yeah, like
double the amount of time Fergie was there.
Yeah. Was the first face a lot of players seen. Like I think she got to meet Amrin before she passed away. So yeah, the legend of that institution. Really nice tribute on the pitch a few weeks ago. I was at the ground when they did it. Really, really nice. And funeral, pay all the respects and stuff like that. So yeah, fantastic.
And she, of course, was someone who would, be introduced to new transfers. Remember Mason Mount when he came in, give him a big warm hug and a smile. It seemed like I'd never met her, of course, but it seemed like a lovely lady. And obviously, condolences again to her family. Charlie's saying, I saw all the legends showing up to pay the respect, be it old or new players. They were all there. And I think that's something that United's always been about, to be honest with you. I think that's like the kind of things you should stick to, like the core principles. They all show up. They're all together as a unit. And yeah, it was nice to see. It's
starting to get away from that now, but like it's a family. It is a family. Like if you hear former players speak about United, they say us when they talk about United.
Yeah.
Like we, us. Like
look at the old players now. Yeah, like
Evra, Berbatov, all of them. They all say us.
It's ingrained.
Like even though they play for other clubs, like Evra went to Juve and Marseille. Berba went to Fulham and somewhere else. But they still say us. Like that's just how their mentality is, and I think that's an important part of that. And she was part of that sort of fabric as well.
Yeah, of course, Sir Alex Ferguson was there as well. You had loads of people, which is lovely to see. Back to Kolo Luciafar saying I'd take him on loan with no obligation to buy for 6 months, then get Gyökeres. Yeah, I think if you're giving me an option now, you're saying, do you want to sign Kolo permanent, Gyökeres or Osimhen? It's going to be the latter two, innit? You're not going to go for Kolo. But it's in isolation. 6 months. I think it's maybe worth it.
Yeah.
UTFR, I don't rate Muani at all. He's not my cup of tea. That's fair enough. Craig the Unicorn, I'm not sure he's much better than what we already have, which is interesting. Michael Stanic.
We're struggling for goals, so, I mean, like, we need something. We need somebody to start. Like, yesterday, who scored a centre-back and Ahmad, who's our only sort of source of goals at the minute. So we need some bodies, man.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree with that. And sometimes bringing a player in who's trying to prove a point on a 6-month, different environment in the Premier League, probably a lot of players want to be there. I don't know. You could get an upturn in form, and it could be worth it. Just that extra push for wherever you want to finish. Michael Stanisic says he does seem more agile than Zirkzee and could fill in a few different roles, so slightly different take there. And Spurs interested, didn't they pay 65 mil for Solanke? Great bit of business. They did, but Spurs having that many injuries at the moment. I'm pretty sure Timo Werner started from the other day. Son's been picking up injuries.
Yeah. The whole defensive line's out as well.
They're knackered.
Both of the goalies are gone. Forrester and Vicario. We were playing some guy I'd never seen before in my life the other day. So they're all lost. But like maybe they know how we feel the other season. Fucking hell.
Yeah. Well, it's just the last question on Kolo. If you are Kolo Muani, I think the teams that are being linked, you've got Juventus, Spurs, Man United, Leipzig are in there. Bayern Munich were potentially interested, but I think that's faded a little bit. Who are you choosing out of them? And let's try to take our red-tinted, glasses. I know we're just through with Liverpool, but apart from that, it's been a pretty chaotic season, hasn't it?
Solanke's not injured, as far as I know, right?
No, I don't think so.
So, is he going to be number one there? I don't know if he is. I don't know. I think he'd be used more as a second choice. Yeah. Juve depends on what happens with Vlahovic, doesn't it? Because he's refusing to sign a new deal. And he's trying to get out the door and stuff. So it depends. If he's still there, then again, your time's going to be limited. So maybe United is your best opportunity because Højlund's misfiring. Depends on what happens with Zirkzee and stuff. So maybe United is your best opportunity.
Yeah. I think it's definitely up there. I think Juventus I would certainly look at. But even then, they're not having like the traditional kind of season you'd expect from Juventus. They're, I think, 7th in the league or something. So, it'd be interesting to keep an eye on this one. In my personal, just the last take on it, I don't see it happening because I think other teams will push more for it. And we will wait for someone to, like a Rashford, for example, to go out on loan. So we have wages there available to cover another loan, if that makes sense, Sam.
Yeah. Well, Juventus are trying, like, Vlahovic is trying to get out the door. Douglas Luiz is already fallen out of favour after moved him from Villa. So, Juventus are in a weird position. Yeah.
Speaking about a current attacker who wants to stay at the club, we have news on Amad Diallo's contract, and this is coming in from Simon Stone and Fabrizio Romano, both very good journalists. Man United prepared to seal Amad Diallo's new contract. It's all set with final details being sorted. New long-term deal, salary improved, and no need to take one-year option until 2026 as contracts will be completely new as planned months ago. We're expecting to confirm this very, very shortly. Isn't it crazy how they've got to the last year before they sorted this out?
Yeah, clearly he was not favoured before Amorim came in, was he? He was clearly not. Like, Ten Hag barely played him. Ollie sent him out on loan, I think. Did he go to Sunderland?
Yeah, Rangers and then Sunderland.
Yeah. So he was clearly not in favour. So maybe he was like, I don't want to sign it. Maybe he was offered a deal and he was like, well, I'm not getting any game time, so why would I sign a new deal? But now under Amorim, he's flying, playing regular games, whether it's a wing back or in the 10, and clearly the manager's got faith in him, and he's repaid it. He scored a goal at City away, and he scored a goal at Anfield away. Yeah. He scored in the FA Cup quarter-final against Liverpool at Old Trafford. The kid's flying. He's amazing. He's a ridiculous player. He's probably our best player besides Ugarte or Mazraoui at the minute.
Well, them three, top three, aren't they?
Yeah, he's phenomenal. So of all the people I was looking at when you look at players who deserve contracts and stuff like that, he's bided his time. He's been patient. He's took his opportunity and he's played extremely well when he has got his opportunity. So he deserves a new deal. Obviously, let's not go over the board and give him 300 grand a week.
Yes.
And let's not do that shit. But he deserves a contract, I think. I've just seen a really good tweet from Dougie Critchley, who has been on the channel before. Shout out to Dougie. Lo Celso and Kunku, Diaby, Etikite, Ugarte. Failing at PSG does not mean you're a bad player.
Yeah.
Sometimes the fit just doesn't work.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Like you said, PSG is, I don't know if this is the right word, it's an anomaly. I can't even say it. Anomaly. Yeah, they are an anomaly. It's a bizarre club that it can really make a player or it can really destroy a player in multiple ways. I mean, there's been people who've quite literally moaned about Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe at that club. So, you know, it's a strange one. But yeah, look on Ahmad, I think if you look at his stats this season, they don't look as good if you just look at it at face value in terms of games played. But in terms of starts, I think he's got 6 goals and 7 assists in 16 starts or something, which is pretty fucking good output. Good. Especially when you compare it to the others that are around him who have all got 2 or 3 goals all season. Yeah. So this is a no-brainer. This is the one that you should, you know, I sound like Gary Neville there. This is the no-brainer. This is the banker. This is the one you should have gone.
This is Manchester United.
Yeah, this is Manchester United. But no, I think the majority of United fans would agree a new contract for Ahmad is absolutely, 1, deserved, and 2, you need to get him tied down because he looks like he's starting to peacock now at such a young age as well. You
can't have him leaving for free this summer. You can't. Like, it just cannot be doing that. So yeah, I'm glad it's getting done. And hopefully he kicks on now and he carries on with a good form that he's already showed, and he doesn't do a Rashford where he gets his brand new deal and then just disappears into the ether. So yeah, I'm sure he won't. He doesn't seem like that sort of player. He doesn't seem like that kind of guy. So
I thought he was relatively quiet yesterday. He had a couple of moments with Robertson where he was going back and forth, but he didn't really do much. But then he just, in the right area, finished that.
Alive, doesn't he?
In big games, he does.
Shows up.
He shows up, and that's what you want. He's got character. I'm a big fan.
That's what Rashford was doing. You know, that 30-goal season. In some games, he would disappear and you would not see him, but then he'd pop up and he'd score important goals. Yeah, like that's what he would do, and that's what you want. Sometimes if your striker is having a bad day or he's not quite feeling it, if he pops up with a goal, doesn't really matter, does it? Because they've got the goal, and that's what you need him for. So like sometimes it's fine to have a bad day as long as you put the effort in, or you you come up with like a result. Like Lenny Yoro didn't get on the pitch, but when he did, he made one of the most important tackles we had on the pitch. He only had a short amount of time, but he made the important. So he made his time count, and that's what you got to do.
I really like that from Ruben Amorim actually after the game yesterday, because obviously sometimes when we do pre-match stuff and post-match stuff, we don't really get to see what the managers come out and really say. I watched quite a few interviews with the players and him last night, and he was like, I'm annoyed because they've done this against Liverpool, so they've obviously shown that they can do it, but they just don't do it on a consistent basis or choose not to do it, which is the most irritating thing. Whereas someone like Ahmad, every game, I mean, I can 3, 4, 5, 6 references I can go to where he's nicked the ball off a player just from persistent hard work and got a goal or assist. Everton, Pauk was another one, Man City was another. There's loads that you can turn to. And I think a lot of the attackers in the forward line at the moment can definitely learn a thing or two off him. And if we had more players like him, we'd be in much better stead going forward.
Bruno said the same thing, didn't he? He said in his interview, I don't know where that's been for the last couple of weeks. And then the interviewer turned it around and went, well, where has it been? He's like, he said, I don't know. He said, because I try and put an effort in, I try 100% in everything. And it's not been there. So he said, I don't know where it's been. So even the players on the pitch are sometimes mystified by the lack of performances. And Bruno's quite honest when he speaks. Like, he doesn't sort of sugarcoat things. He's not one of these players where he goes, yeah, we need to get back to it and we'll fight and all that. He's not one of those guys. Like, he's quite honest with it and he's raw emotionally, like we've seen it. So yeah, it's bizarre, man. Like, and I'm with Amorim, man. Like, I'd be pissed off as well if you were just showing me absolute shit for ages and then do that against Liverpool. And it just all throws into question. People go, oh, it's the system. Oh, it's this. It's fucking not the system, is it? Because you just seen it. He's had the exact same system and they've performed, so it's not the fucking system. So stop with that shit. All these comments that we had on Instagram, stop playing a back three, that's what's causing it. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Mate, you want to see how many Liverpool fans I've got?
Oh, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So funny.
They are so triggered, especially on TikTok. So my God, someone I had to repost it before on TikTok. Someone commented and they put, he was like, Maldini, Ronaldo, and Messi had bad games. I said, if you're honestly putting Trent Alexander-Arnold
in that box, are you?
In that bracket, you're more delirious than I thought. You're more delirious than Arsenal fans are. That is crazy to even put them. You're talking about quite literally the best players ever in them positions.
The best
Trent's not even
defender,
close to that.
one of the best defenders in history.
History.
Like, defender as well. But this is the point. He was a defender. Trent
Yeah.
cannot defend for shit.
No,
Can't
he was
defend.
awful yesterday. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I watched the goals back, and I watched which one was it in particular? I think it might have been the first one with Sandro when Bruno cuts in. He's not even running. He's like doing that. He's slowly, and I'm like, oh my god, what on earth? Shit.
You see Van Dijk give him the death stare afterwards when we got down that left hand.
I heard
he just turned around and was just like fucking tagging it. It was like, Jesus Christ.
I heard there was like massive, like a bust up in the dressing room after it because Van Dijk was just going mental at him.
Surprised me.
Obviously got Madrid on the mind in it. But yeah, I went off on a tangent now. I completely forgot what I was talking about. But Ahmad, all in all, just to sum that part of it up, good news, Sam. Yeah, happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Get it done, sorted, and let's go forward with him.
Perfect. Moving on to the next attacker, slightly different situation, Joshua Zirkzee. So we've had 3 updates today from Sky Sports, from Alex Crook, and then Sky Cavi, everyone's favourite journalist. And these are the 3 reports. So Juventus are continuing to work with United on a deal for Joshua Zirkzee, but United do not intend to let him leave on a loan. We then had Alex Crook saying Juventus have offered Dusan Vlahovic as part of a swap deal for Joshua Zirkzee. And then Sky Cavi reporting that Zirkzee has no interest in leaving United. He loves the club and is determined to prove himself in the Premier League. That's the attitude you want, though, from a player in it, especially after all that booing in the other game, where it was kind of looking like, oh, I'm not entirely sure. Fans aren't convinced on him. It was nice to see, first and foremost, the fans at Anfield yesterday won it, kind of cheering his name.
Chanting his name, man.
Didn't help himself when he got to that final thing and the pass. I felt like he should have shot personally. But it should be given him a bit of time, at least, I feel like.
He's what, 4 months in the league? Like, he's settling in. Like, some players just don't hit the ground running. Some players don't take to the league quickly. Yeah. Like, how many times have we seen it under Pep? Like, he brings players in and he puts them on ice for a year, doesn't he? Yeah. And then he brings it, once they're up to standard, then he brings them in. And then
Nunes
they start, like...
was a bit like that. Mateus Nunes.
Yeah, there's been a bunch of them. And it's just like... But it's like, oh no, 4 months, he's washed his shit, just get rid of him. It's like, the guy's young. He's, is he 23? 22?
Yeah.
He's young. He's in a brand new league. He's in a brand new team with a brand new manager. Like, give the guy time, man. Give the guy time. Like, he will hopefully will come good. He's not cost that much money. What did he, like 35 million, something like that? It's not a massive outlay. This is not an Anthony signing with 80, 90 million. Give him time. And then DC in the chat, not my DC, some other DC. Vidic and Evra, absolute shit when they came in. I don't know if you old enough to remember. When they came
send him back.
Yeah, awful. Like Rio was saying on his podcast, he said, "What the fuck are they doing here? Why are they here?" So give the guy time, man. If it's next season, this point next season, he's still like not quite getting it. I get it, I understand, but give the guy time, man. And I'm glad the away fans got behind him with chanting his name. That's what I want to see, and I'm glad that he felt that from the fans and stuff like that. That's proper good support. And then, but you saw the impacts, like we spoke about this on the review, like the impact of like if he was a confident striker at the time, maybe he does drill that across and just shoots it into the back of the net and it's a goal. But you can see the confidence was maybe a little bit lacking, so he just goes, "I don't want this pressure," so he lays it across, and then obviously I rewatched it. When he hits it, the ball bobbles up as it comes up to Maguire, and that's why he ends up skying it. So it's like if it's just along the ground, maybe it does go in. So it's a bit unfortunate, but yeah, I give the guy time, man. Like, just get off his back and give him time.
But I think it is fine margins in football, isn't it? Because we've all been moaning at our forwards who aren't squaring it or aren't passing the ball, and when he does it, everyone's like, "Oh, he should have shot." But I did feel like if that's Alexander Isak in front of that, he's rifling that bottom left corner. But look, he needs that confidence. He needs that backing from fans. He's starting to get that a bit now. And look, he's played 20 games, and probably half of them are starts in the Premier League, right? So he started 10 games, let's just say. If you used to judge every fucking player of 10 starts in the Premier League, the majority of your favourite players wouldn't even be here, you know? So just give it a bit of time. If we're still having this conversation next season, then obviously we can have a conversation about it. But I don't want him to leave just yet. And also, I want to go against the narrative. I just want to support him because he got the amount of shit that he did. I'm kind of like, well, I want him to work out even more now.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to be, despite all those fans who were booing him, I'm like, no,
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
you. I'm backing him now. I'm backing.
Yeah.
I hope he scores a ton of goals.
Yeah.
But you saw Pep said, I think it was yesterday, he was like, Savinho is like better than Jack Grealish at the minute, and he's performing better than Jack Grealish, and you just like, you paid 100 million for Jack Grealish,
Crazy.
and he's not scored a goal in 46 games. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's saying shit about it.
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
people are getting on Zirkzee's back. He's cost 35 million. It's his first 4 months in the league, and they're getting on his back. Like, fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Crazy. It is mad. But yeah, look, let's see what happens with Zirkzee. I hope he doesn't move in January, but it is a possibility, I think, at least at the moment. Now, moving on, switching gears slightly, I want to talk about Lenny Yoros. A couple of things coming out from Laurie Whitwell and Romano before. Apparently, so this is on the initial deal with Yoro. There has been claims that the agent, Jorge Mendes, informed United that a deal for Manuel Ugarte would need to follow to clinch the Lenny Yoro signing, with both players being his clients, which I thought was really interesting. But as it stands, Ruben Amorim and his staff are very happy with Lenny Yoro's development. His game time is being carefully managed after his injury. The club see him as a key player for the future, and everything that I've listened to around him, a lot of the staff and the management are stressing that not to force him or rush him back at all. Be delicate with him, because there is a talent there, isn't there?
Absolutely. Like, just that tackle alone that I saw.
I love that.
The timing, the accuracy, and the balls to do that in your own penalty area and go, no, I'm going to get this, and not think, if I take this man out, that's another penalty to Liverpool. He just, the confidence of the kid, and he got it spot on, and he's super quick. He's young, but super talented. And he's in a kind of a good position, because they said they want to take the tie with him and introduce him slowly. We've got enough defenders where we can do that. We can afford to do that. Yeah. You got Maguire, you got De Ligt, you got Leacher, even Johnny Evans, Lindelof. I know he's out in a minute, but you've got enough people who could play there, like, and give him the time to sort of feeding slowly. That's what you need to do. That's what we've not done with young players for so long. We get a young player and he plays well, and then we just play him to death, don't we? Yeah. And he just sort of like falls off a cliff. Like Elanga, we brought him in and he played well, and then Ragnick was like, right, you're playing every game. And he just fell off a cliff. And now he's at Forest and he's showing that his talent, like how good he is. Let's not do that to Lenny Yoro. Like, let's give him some games here and there, and then take him out of the team and just manage his game time. Because if you manage his game time, he will improve. And he'll become better for it. Like, let's not just throw him in because he's a big signing and we paid a lot of money for him. Give him time. Like, just give him time. He will be good. Like, this kid is really talented.
It is hard, because I look at the area. I think, first and foremost, if I'm scouting someone for one of those left-sided centre-half or right-sided centre-half, he is one of the perfect options that you can go and get in terms of age, in terms of profile, strength, pace, ability on the ball. He's one of the best options in Europe that you could have gone and got. I fully believe that. So I'm almost like, I really want him to start, because I'm like, I know he's so good. So he's finding that balance of like, and I think Amorim's been doing it perfectly. Like, still get him on in a big game and make him feel important by doing what he did in that moment. But then you kind of, it's only 10, 15 minutes. You're not forcing it too much. I really like that. So if we can keep doing that, keep giving, give him games in the Cup or Europa League, I'm all right with that. And then we'll really see him kick on the season after.
Ten Hag did that to an extent with Garnacho, didn't he? Like, Garnacho was so good coming off the bench and impacting games and causing chaos and then getting goals and stuff. And then Ten Hag just started. What did he? There was a record. What didn't he start like 30 games in a row or something?
It was a season. So Ten Hag's last season, or the last full season in charge, I think he played like 3,000 minutes or something ridiculous.
Like, just played him into the ground. You saw he was fatiguing like towards the end of the season. He was leggy and stuff like that. Everybody forgets he's 19. This guy, like, he's a young kid. Like, he's still young. So young players, like, they have this high energy, but they burn out really quickly. You've got to they've got to learn how to manage themselves as they go through the game. And I think that's what we need to do going forward. These young players need to manage their minutes and get them into the thing. And you've seen Ruben Amorim's gone back, maybe because Garnacho doesn't fit into the system as much, but I thought he had a decent cameo when he came on yesterday. Yeah,
he was better.
But feed them in slowly. Don't just chuck them in and just because they've produced in a few games. Like, I think Ruben Amorim's doing it the right way.
Yeah, agreed. Back to the comments section. What we're saying, people, please do smash the like in the video, by the way, and subscribe to the channel. We're 113 subs away from 10,000. So if there is anyone new and you enjoy the content and you like daily lives and other bits, pre-match, post-match stuff, hit that subscribe button. Takes 2 seconds, bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Steph saying, give Zirkzee time. He detests Van Disney. Good enough for me. Yeah, absolutely. Disposal society culture players aren't tumble dryers. John Humane says, what a tackle, Euro lad. Charlie saying, Euro's got it all. He's got the tackle of Wan-Bissaka and defensive talent of Varane. Yeah, he's a big talent. And I'm actually still surprised that we managed to get him, to be honest with you, given the scenario that we're in at the moment. We've got a few young, exciting players. We were just talking about Ahmad. Ugarte is only 23, don't forget. Him and Kobe yesterday really started like they was getting that connection now in the middle of the park. Euro, De Ligt's 24.
Yep.
You know, like, it's crazy. It's crazy. We've got youngsters there.
De Ligt's so weird because you think he's always been around forever. He's been at Ajax, at Juve, and Bayern. And you're like, oh, he's 24. It's so weird.
Crazy,
bizarre. Zirkzee's 23, Højlund's 22. Yeah. I think Dallow's only like 26, isn't he? Like, he's not that old, Dallow. Like, so there's quite a young team like to sort of build with there. So yeah, really interesting.
Yeah. We're talking of building a player who's probably not part of those plans, Sam. And I don't want to talk about him because I feel like I talk about him every single day. I'm tired of it.
We do.
Marcus Rashford. So Damarcio, who was the same guy who said Ten Hag would be sacked, by the way, after the FA Cup, and that didn't happen. Yeah. So, you know, take it how you want to. AC Milan are one of several clubs who are considering Marcus Rashford. The only option for the Serie A side would be a loan move, with United paying a significant portion of his salary. I feel weird about this because I'm like, I know you need to kind of get him out of that environment and take him away, and maybe that'll be more beneficial than keeping him there. But if we're going to pay a significant portion of his salary, is it worth sending him out on loan to another club? I don't know. Maybe to drive the price up, if that's the argument.
Yeah, like maybe like it was the similar argument when Sancho went to Dortmund, didn't he? Like we pay. I imagine we were paying quite a lot of his wages because Dortmund don't want to pay shit for anybody, but want premium price for all their players, don't they? That's how they operate. So I imagine that was the same thing, and it did work to be fair. Like, he had a good game in the Champions League, and then he's gone to Chelsea now, and he's okay, he's doing all right, and they've paid for him now, so it did work to an extent. The only issue is like you said, like we pay out a significant thing his wage because he's on an astronomical wage. Well, say he does have a good loan at AC Milan, they're not going to buy him because they're not going to pay that wage still, are they?
No.
Like. No. How do you get around that? Like, how do you get around the fact that no team is going to pay him 375k a week? It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it's big stumbling blocks in it because there's a couple of things. So with Milan, again, I don't watch them week in, week out, so Milan fans could tell me better. But they've got Rafael Leao there, who I absolutely adore as a player. I think he's phenomenal.
Pulisic as well.
Pulisic, like, they've got players there who are in similar positions, so that would confuse me. I don't think they're a heavy favourite. But then I look at, like, okay, so we send him out on loan. Let's say he does well there. If he comes back, I think people will be looking at that Sancho situation and they'll be like, that's a young, talented winger who's underperforming. Marcus Rashford fits exactly into the same category, and we only got 25 mil for Sancho, and we was desperate to take that. So I think United are actually overestimating Rashford's price as well. I think they're thinking 50, 60 million. I don't think they'll get that.
No, they're not going to get anywhere. They won't get anywhere there, especially with the wages. Like, if a team is going to take a gamble on him and pay some similar wage what he's on now, they're going to want to cut price in the transfer fee, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because we're not paying 50, 60 million and then paying him 375k a week on top of that, because it's just going to bankrupt him. Especially in Italy, like, there's not many teams in Italy that have a lot of money. Like, Juventus are struggling financially, AC Milan are struggling financially, Inter, Roma, Napoli, like, they're all struggling financially because the money in the Serie A is not what it was like a long time ago. So I don't see a team in Italy who's going to pay those wages and pay a big fee for him. It's going to have to be one or the other. Either we go on loan with an obligation to buy at a cut price fee like Sancho, we just get rid, or he's going to have to drop his wage demands.
Yeah,
like that's going to be there.
That's why I always think it's nonsense when I see teams linked in Italy. I'm like, if it's a loan, then I believe it. If they're saying they're going to sign him on a permanent, it's bollocks. There's no chance that they're going to spend that amount of money. So, yeah. What do you think? If you make a prediction on Rashford, do you think he stays for the rest of the season, or do you think he does end up going out on loan?
I'm probably 80-20. I think 80% he stays, 20% he goes on loan. I don't see anybody buying him. Like, I just don't see that happening. He may well, like, if he does end up staying, does Ruben Amorim try and get him back to a level where he can utilize
We're not tired
him?
of that rodeo now.
No, but what, like you said, what is he going to do with him?
Yeah.
If he stays, he doesn't go on loan. Does he go train with the youth and just
because then his
that's what you
value
do.
depreciates, doesn't it?
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
do that?
Or does he try and get some use out of him and go give him appearances here, there, try and push the value somehow, and then sell him in the summer? Like, there's a lot of there's a lot of difficult decisions that have got to be made around Rashford. Like, I think his time is up at United, but obviously getting him out the door is easier said than done at the minute.
Again, we're left dealing with the mess that Ed Woodward and Richard Arnold and John Murtaugh created, as always, unfortunately. So, yeah, quite a lot of stories that we've shifted through today. Just to recap for anyone who is watching the stories that we've spoken about, Kolo Muani on loan to Manchester United is a possibility. It was David Ornstein reporting that. Amad Diallo, new contract incoming within the next couple of weeks, which is fantastic news. Joshua Zirkzee to Juventus, kind of being blown out of proportion at the moment, I would say. A lot of credible journalists saying that. And Lenny Yoro, bits on Lenny Yoro and Marcus Rashford. So hopefully you've all enjoyed the show. If you have, smash that subscribe button. Smash a like on the video as well. Drop us a follow on socials. If you look at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen at the moment, our Instagram, our Twitter, and our TikTok is on there. We're getting close to 5K, is it, Sam, on Insta at the moment?
Yeah, we're on like 489 something. So yeah, like 110 or something away. So yeah, not far away. I've just seen as well, Harry Amas will not be joining Leicester City on loan this month, but he does remain available on loan. So there you go. Not be joining Rude.
The latest of latest news is Punch Pate in the chat saying, big up Real Reds. I love this channel. Cheers everyone in the chat. Salute Nick and Sam, the best in the business. Good vibes knowing we could have got 3 points yesterday. Punch Pate's always positive.
Thank you, mate.
I love it. Yeah, awesome. Thank you to everyone in the community. Thank you to everyone who's been interacting. We'll see you tomorrow at 12 o'clock. We've also got Premier League predictions upcoming. We've got an Arsenal preview for the FA Cup game and loads of other stuff. So stay tuned. Turn on that notification bell and me and Sam will see you guys